Hello and welcome to this extremely cloudy edition of Take the Fair Out of the Gear with me, Mr. Chumley Warner.
And me, Jason Bangers. We are going down the Roland Cloud Road once again.
So this week's question is...
Dare we
say the word? do we go with the Roland Cloud? You all right there?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Or do we go with the Roland hardware? That is the question.
Are you asking me or the fans, the followers?
I think we should ask everyone.
Well, it's a good question, isn't it? Because the price of some of the keyboards could be good many years of Roland Cloud usage, I guess.
Yeah, that's just...
Got any examples?
Yeah, I'll read out. There's a few here. I think we'll start with we'll start with some cheaper ones, then I'll go on to the most expensive one. Because there's like a Roland System-1 or System-1M, £569, which is quite a lot of money. Then there's a Roland System-8, which is £1,290.
Oh my God, yeah.
And these use the plug-out technology, and you get these same synths on the cloud, so it's all interlinked.
So we're up to nearly £2,000 then.
And then we go up to like more the flagship ones, which run this new Zen Core technology, which is the same as the cloud, and I think you can interchange sounds between them. You got the Juno X at 1,628, and then good job we're sitting down. We've got the Jupiter X, which is their flagship, £2,099. Again with the same Zen Core technology. So I think the question is, would you rather spend £2,000 on one of those? Or would you rather have 10 years of the cloud?
So those keyboards you just made, they're by...
Roland.
You all right?
Yeah, no, I'm all right now, yeah.
So they're... All right, so what we're saying is they're Roland synthesizers, keyboards, whatever you like. So that's a lot of subscription time there. That's
10 years on their most expensive keyboard.
Just on one keyboard, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been down here before, and we did give Roland a hard time. There's a lot of... In fact, that's the most commented video we've made. We've almost got a forum going on the comments.
Yeah.
We'll put a link in there for you if you haven't seen it, down below. But the question really is... Okay, it all comes down to money, but let's talk about practicability. Now, Simon and I and my brother Mitchell, we went to the Regent in Ipswich to watch Ultravox as they reformed and did their tour. It was fantastic.
That was a great gig.
Brilliant. Right in the middle of a set, he was using MIDI controllers, all his keyboards, going into a laptop. He was dependent on his one laptop for all his sounds, yeah?
Yeah.
And it crashed. It crashed right in the middle of a set. And if he ever gets to watch this, he'll go, bloody hell, yeah, I remember that. I mean, it was quite embarrassing. Major did a great job of emceeing because he had to then get to the mic and tell stories while stay. He didn't even have an engineer with him. He was on his knees, he was underneath following leads. It was bloody embarrassing, really. And his laptop went down. Personally, if I was Major's keyboard player, or even if I was an old guy that was in the original Ultravox, I would certainly have two laptops running exactly the same programs with a switcher. Just so one goes down, you just forget about it, switch to the other one. In the end, he had to restart his laptop and we had to wait. And it took all in all about 15 minutes. I think they even started a song without him. Now, if he'd have had hardware keyboards, the chances of that happening are slim to nothing. Now, with keyboard comes responsibility, maintenance. Now, of course, the keyboards they used back then, Mini Moogs, stuff like that, very temperamental.
So these new Roland ones are like a hardware computer in the keyboard, and as you say, it's highly unlikely it's going to crash.
Probably unlikely, yeah. And the other thing is, right, so there's that, and there's all the gear to lug around when you're on tour. And the other thing is, when you get home, where'd you put all this stuff? If you're famous, you've probably got music rooms and warehouses. I think with almost every Roland keyboard in the world on a laptop.
Yeah,
It's got to have its advantages.
Yeah, if you're at home, you've got your home studio, or you're even a professional studio, you might as well have it all in one laptop or a couple of laptops or your main computer.
We did give Roland a slating on the last video. We've come round a little bit.
Yeah, you know, don't get us wrong, we love Roland, we support Roland, we've got loads of Roland gear.
Well, we love the equipment.
And I suppose one thing to mention on our theory of do you spend 2,000 on the keyboard or get 10 years on the cloud, another thing to remember is a lot of people said in the comments last time, every year you subscribe to the cloud, you get given a key for a synthesizer. So after 10 years, you'd have 10 of those synths in your rack permanently.
So you keep them for life without having to sign up?
Yeah, so you could choose 10 synthesizers to keep.
Yeah.
So then, yes, that's not bad. You know, it's kind of, we're leaning that way.
It's not mega generous of them though, is it, when you think about it? But there you go.
And I suppose just a couple more points quickly, just to recap on. Roland sort of started this whole software plug-in thing in around sort of 2003 with this rack unit. We can pop up a picture called the Various, where you could load in a Jupiter 8 synth.
Oh, that's awesome.
And a TB303, and this is where this whole sort of plug-in thing started. And then they did their sort of boutique little synths, where we can show you a picture. And again, but you're only really buying a hardware controller with the software in it. So again, should you just go for the cloud instead? You know, instead of Jay says having all this gear lying around, which is just like a hardware controller with the computer program in.
That was a lot of stuff, wasn't it?
So it's all preferences, but I suppose the one thing to bear in mind is, or the big question is, it'd be nice to hear your comments. Do you think Roland's going in the right direction? Do we want to keep on with all this sort of either completely software or just these sort of hardware shells with a software computer in them? Can we maybe go back to the old days? Can we, not saying anything about Behringer, but
yeah, but that's what Behringer started to do, and unfortunately they've gone tits up at the moment. We don't know what's going on there.
No, and we're going to do another video, look into that a bit more.
We've heard that Yuli is talking about selling. We're one of our comments on our last video about Behringer. We've heard that Yuli's talking of selling the whole thing. Well, we don't know if that's true, but that's something we're certainly going to look into, isn't it?
But I suppose coming back to Roland, it's, you know, obviously Roland want to continue with the cloud, that's fine. But they should sort of step to one side and go, maybe we'll do a new analogue synth.
Thing is,
crazy,
with analogue synth, mate, once they've sold it, they're not making any more money off of it. Whereas with the cloud, they're constantly making money still.
Yeah. And if you subscribe, you'll always be updated. And I suppose we ought to say very quickly, there's 4 subscriptions. There's a free one where you get like a small Zen Core synth. You get one for about $30 a year, which is again Zen Core with a few extra sound packs. The Pro version, which is still Zen Core, which, as I say, features in some of their flagship synths. Plus you get a few synth plugins, and then the Ultimate.
How much?
That's $99 a year. And then the one that everyone normally goes for is the Ultimate, which is $199. But that's the one. That's where you get your 808s, your 909s, everything you could ever want. And that's what we were comparing with, like the flagship Jupiter X synth for 2000. So that's your 10 years of the cloud.
10 years of using that cloud. You could have bought that keyboard, but think about it. You bought it 10 years ago. So it's an old keyboard by then. There's something new would have come out by then, which you've probably got in your cloud.
Exactly, because if you got 10 years of the cloud and you're getting a free synth every year, you're going to get a whole load of up-to-date sounds and synths, aren't you?
So my problem with today's technology, Simon, is the iOS on your iPhone and your Windows update stuff not being compatible, not being backward compatible. I mean, the cloud will move on, granted it's got to, hasn't it? Because if they can't give their users what they want, then the users aren't going to buy. They're not going to subscribe. Do you have to keep buying new laptops, PCs, so that you can move on forward with your Windows? I sold a really nice laptop to my mate, and it won't update to Windows 11. We don't know why. It's a really top of the range laptop.
Yeah, that's a good point with the computer thing, because it's buying a computer nowadays. It's quite costly.
Well, it's very costly.
One point which we forgot to mention, which I've encountered with the cloud, is you need a pretty reasonably powerful computer to run some of the cloud plugins, because otherwise it just crashes. So,
well, that's a valid point.
yeah, you know,
So there's extra cost there which people haven't considered, or I guess because we're assuming people have already got PCs and laptops.
Yeah, but you can't really get away with a cheap computer to run all the plugins if you've got the Ultimate Edition, say, on the cloud. It's not going to work.
You need like a fast gaming computer, don't
Yeah.
you? Which is what I bought for our editing for this show. I bought a gaming computer.
So if you're thinking of going in the cloud, that's another valid point. But yeah, answers in the comments. Do you want to go hardware or do you want to go software with the cloud? What do you think?
We were scared to touch we were scared to touch base on this subject again because you see we've been slapped around just by mentioning it by an entity, the Roland entity maybe, or yourselves probably slapping us around from behind the camera. We don't know is the truthful answer. I'm leaning more towards the computer side of it, but having seen what happened with Ultravox, that kind of put me off.
You got to think about your application, haven't you? What you want to use it for? Are you using it live or studio or at home or
Exactly that. Now, if you're at home, it's not a problem when your computer crashes. You can switch it off, start again. It's pretty frustrating, but it's not the end of the world.
No.
If you're right in the middle of a concert, that is an absolute nightmare, as we have witnessed. And there you go, guys. I think we've covered it all. We want to now see what you've got to say about it.
It's food for thought, isn't it?
Yeah, did we say anything that made sense? Did we say stuff that was completely ridiculous? Did we say stuff that made you angry? Did we make stuff that made you happy? Let us know in the comments down below. And don't forget to hit the bell, eh?
To like and subscribe and tell all your friends.
From this episode of Take the Fear Out of the Gear, from me, Jason Bangers, it's a solemn goodbye.
And for me, Mr. Chumley Warner, are you going to go to the dark side?
You calling it the dark side? Which is
the
dark
cloud side.
The cloud side. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Take it easy.